our next guest captured the hearts of the world when his poem about lockdown called The Great Realisation went viral.
Well, after receiving praise from far and wide, poet Tom Roberts is once again on a mission to spread some positivity during his this new lockdown. This time he's drafted in some magical help.
The homelessness, poverty, disease, the starvation, the mistreatment of children, the hunger, the Western temptation. Can't you see it? Abuse in every form, the misuse of creation. Power abused, stuck in eternal damnation.
I know. Don't you think I know? What do you want me to say? I don't celebrate people's suffering and say hip hip hooray. We could be so much better. If only we could, amidst all of that bad, start to work for the good. Like, I'm not being naive to suggest that the future could be bright. I'd just rather be an optimist proved wrong than a pessimist proved right.
And we'll come to that poem that he did with Tom Felton there in just a bit. But Tom does join us now. Good morning to you, Tom. Great to see you this morning.
Hello.
And wow, I mean, things have just kind of skyrocketed for you, haven't they? Since that first lockdown when you wrote the first poem, The Great Realisation. And you wrote that for yourself, really, just to kind of make sense of what was going on at the time.
Yeah, very much. I was homeschooling my little brother and sister, and I was looking for ways to not give in to all the fear and anxiety that felt ever present. And I think the antidote to that is hope, you know? And so I was looking for some of that in my life, and I think other people were too.
There's a huge positivity in everything that you do, but that first lockdown, it wasn't all positive. You did, like everybody, find that place in your head where you're thinking, I just don't get a grasp of what's going on here.
Yeah, well, what's really interesting is after I released that poem, it got a lot of attention and I did a lot of interviews. And people kept asking me in these interviews, are you an optimist? And I was thinking, you know, I'm both, you know, we're all both. Like, there are certain times where you feel uplifted and motivated there, and there are certain times where you feel hopeless and drained, you know, and it's a constant battle going on in your mind. And that's why I wrote the poem that I did with Tom Felton, you know, to try and tap into that.
Well, that was because of a comment on YouTube, wasn't
it? yeah. I was looking through some of the YouTube comments, and there was this guy called Tiger King or something, Tiger Man, and he had a picture of a tiger in his picture, and he looked pretty gruff, and he was commenting on everyone's comments, all in capital letters, incredibly angrily. And I just looked at that and I thought, you know, you've got a point, but it doesn't look fun. You know, it doesn't look pleasant. It doesn't look like you're feeling good, you know, and I don't want to give in to those thoughts because we all have them. So I started thinking about that, and then I wrote that Tale of Two Mindsets poem.
And so you write it, and then I guess you've got to think about putting it out there and performing it. And suddenly, because of the response to the first poem, and that first one got, you know, Jennifer Aniston got in touch with you, Kristen Bell, Drew Barrymore, Khloe Kardashian, Olivia Newton-John, Jake Gyllenhaal, lots of people. So suddenly you have, like, this audience listening and wanting more from you. So getting someone to perform it with you must have been a lot easier than the first time round.
Well, I mean, you know, that wouldn't have been an option for me the first time around, but like I'm always trying to embrace any opportunity that presents itself, and Tom Felton was one of the people who reached out to me after the Great Realisation and said that it was really meaningful to him. So we've struck up a sort of friendship which is incredible, because he's such a, you know, interesting, wonderful guy. And you know, I was messaging him one day in the most recent lockdown, and I was like, look, let's do something, and we decided we were going to re-release that poem but do a back and forth. Because who's better to play pessimism than Draco Malfoy?
Absolutely, I know, right?
And so is this something that... You were going to be a rapper, weren't you? So poetry wasn't necessarily the grand plan.
No, I was addicted for about 2 years to watching rap battles on YouTube. I didn't think I'd found anything better in life than that. I've never been that physical, you know. I don't want to solve problems through fighting. I like solving them through words. So when I discovered that there was this culture online of people having real debates, you know, and winning or losing them based on how well they could articulate themselves, I thought that was amazing. But then I went to university, and there were far more spoken word poetry nights than rap battle evenings. So I've kind of drifted.
But what it has done is open up the door to so much, because you write the poem, you perform on the poem, you film the poem, and then there's the books as well. And in September, you released your first book. You've got another one on the way.
Well, The Great Realisation was the book that we released based on that first poem, which is available now. If you go on my website, probably tomfoolery.com, you can find out where it is near you. And we're talking about doing more books. But ultimately, you know, I'm just trying to spread this very simple but important message. You know, that the world can be better, but everyone's got to play their part. You know,
Well,
it's not just going to happen.
You've done that with the poem that dropped on your Instagram last night, and this is the fact that you've got it's called Dear World Leaders. You've got the message here is that what we want more than anything, more than stats, more than graphs, is we want positive words.
Very much so. You know, I think leadership is so. I mean, fundamentally for me, I think leadership is about wanting the best for people. You know, I think that's what you've got to aim at if you're a leader, and to want the best for people and to get them to follow instructions. Even you can either do that by making them feel so afraid that they will blindly follow anything you say, and I don't think that that's good leadership. Or you can encourage the best out of people. You know, the best out of humanity, to call it forth, to act, you know, and do what's right. And I think that's through art and creativity, not telling people to, you know, retrain. There was that government advert telling the ballerina to retrain in cyber. And it's like, we need people in cyber, but we also need the ballerinas, you know, we need people to remind us how much beauty there is in the world.
Absolutely. And it's called Dear World Leaders, and the world leaders were listening because the Prime Minister of New Zealand has been in touch overnight. So you are getting right into the heart of this, aren't you?
Well, that was amazing. You know, I was born in New Zealand, and I think that Jacinda Ardern is you know, a really inspirational world leader, and she. We exchanged some messages last night. I kind of jokingly told her that it wasn't aimed at her. I thought she was doing a good job. And she told me she wouldn't have taken it personally. So that was nice.
Amazing.
Well, hopefully next book will be out soon. Hopefully it won't be long before you can get on stage. I know you had gigs planned and they've had to be postponed. So hopefully you'll get out on the road and people can come and listen to the poetry. And it's not world leader level, Tom, but we have done a bit of a collaboration ourselves.
Have you?
We have. Well, it's a very special person's birthday today. Well, it's actually my big sister Caitlin's birthday today, but it's
Happy
also
birthday,
your birthday. It's also your birthday, Holly. And on the weekend, Phillip and I got together.
Yeah.
There are certain people who make us feel good.
Those who know the right words to say.
Well, how fitting is it that we read this for Holly?
To celebrate on her birthday.
With grace and with flair and with charm and with care.
She is there when the new day is dawning.
She brings warmth to our hearts with every story she starts.
From the familiar couch of this morning.
But behind that loved person that we see on the telly
is a character so rich and deep.
She puts family first and will always have your back.
And so trustworthy, special secrets she'll keep.
She's cultured and kind, but steers well clear of gore.
So I can't ever discuss Game of Thrones.
Maybe the most graceful drunk person that ever did live.
We're the soft spot for Rupert Penry Jones.
Oh, God.
I'm told when she starts laughing, it's not easy to stop.
So I convince you to sit down before you pee.
She is a true force of calm, though it's quite fun to test.
Gotta make a jump, live on TV.
And as we wrap up this rhyme with a heart full of thanks.
For being there, through good times or bad.
She is our brightest and best, and moves us all through our screens.
She's a sister that I never had. Happy birthday, Holly.
Oh, my goodness me. Thank you so much.
There you go.
It's so nice.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, I was
Thank you,
really well
Tom.
done there. Tom,
That was
thank
lovely.
you.
It's good fun. That was good fun.
you.
With music by Katie Phillips. She did wonderfully.
Well done, Katie. Thank you. That was really beautiful.
And after the show, I'll show you the outtakes.
OK, I look forward to that.